You're not wrong. Alright, from one clone deck to another, and thanks for the 19 months, Zach. This deck is looking to clone things probably a little bit more consistently. So we've got a bunch of cheap cantrips here to kind of filter through our deck so we can find one of our 10 creatures that is worth copying. We've got 10 creatures to copy, but they're all pretty high impact. It's possible that Demanding Dragon is too cheeky and it should just be a better creature like Scraggan Hellkite, but I kind of want to be cheeky and copy my Demanding Dragon. So let's go ahead and jump on into some matches. So we're gonna play this one in the ranked queue because I think the core of this deck's pretty reasonable. We've got good interaction and just like reasonable threats. This was a build-around submission. So the build-around submission for this deck was play Quasiduplicate. I believe it might have been Quasiduplicate with specifically Drake's. Quasiduplicate was in there somewhere. Perfect. And again, like, this I think is a good example of how to successfully brew in Standard. It's okay to want your deck to be doing something sweet, but the key to having a functional Magic deck is your deck needs to be doing things that are meaningful even when you don't have your sweet thing going on. Perfect. I think I'm just gonna shock plus opt here. Perfect. So we go tapped land into Lava Coil here. Then we get these Murmuring Mystics online. So next turn we go 4th land Mystic, and then 5th land Mystic Op, start churning out some birds. Oh my gosh! Do you know what card we should have instead of the Demanding Dragon? And I just realized it. What's the Octodad? The 4/5 that has hexproof if you have an illusion? Because the birds are illusions. Benthid, yeah. We should have Benthid. Their draw was real good. I'm not sure that there's a lot we can do here. Because we can't really block anything, right? Like these things can't be chubbed. Because Octodad combos with the Mesmerizings. Definitely want Stroke. Is this a Melody matchup? This is probably too slow. It's probably just Dragon for Stroke. Actually, Dive Down's probably pretty bad here, huh? Yes. Sure. I'm gonna bottom that. We're kind of looking for a threat. The mono green deck is probably pretty bad against Gaea's Wrath. Might be reasonable in the format in general. No idea. Haven't played it. Ditch a shock for now. Melody kind of gives us a threat. It's a really slow threat. Thorn Lieutenant is super annoying. Sure, but the Esper deck kind of does a 1-2 punch where you don't play out your threats and then you give them enough time to, like, take over the game with cards like Teferi, or you don't play out your threats, then they thought erasure them. Like, traditionally speaking, decks like these mono green decks are very bad against decks like Esper Control. If they don't have a Harpooner here, Drake into Quasi-Duplicate should take over the game real quick for us. Alright, we hit another Drake, so all is not lost just yet. Sure. They don't have another Harpooner. The Drake's gonna, like, be a solid threat on this board. Perfect. Keeps us alive even if they kill the Drake. And if they don't kill the Drake, I'm gonna make 2 more Drakes next turn. Just gonna end the game very quickly. Sure. Contrary to what most Magic players like to think, your opponent does in fact not always have it. Just like we drew it up. So they get to live here. They attack, and I'm forced to... I guess I'm not forced to double block here. I think I'm far enough ahead that I can double block and trade this for a Thorn Lieutenant, though. I don't want them to have, like, a random pump spell and have things go sideways on me. Quickly, to the Drake-mobile! They're multiplying. I don't think I want Dive Down. I think I just, like, I have 4 shocks to, like, shock Harpooners in response to them. Yeah, and, like, again, like, we're a Drake's Murmuring Mystic deck when we don't have Quasi-Duplicate, and then when we hit the Quasi-Duplicate and we get going, we just, like, punch the engine into overdrive, right? It's kind of like Biomancer's Familiar, right? Like, we've been building decks around Biofamiliar that are, like, reasonable decks when you don't have the Familiar, and then, like, go into Hyperdrive when you do. Thanks for the support, Kittle. Charter course, probably going to be ditching Ral. He's a little bit slow this game. Looking to be a little slow this game. Yep. Maybe I was supposed to ditch. Perfect. Just like we drew up. I was saying maybe I was supposed to ditch a spell there to make the Beacon Bolt better. 3. Ferox is scary. If we hit a land here, we can get Murmuring Mystic going, and then that'll probably be enough to, like, stall the game out, even with taking, like, 8 next turn. Not the land we wanted for Christmas. Okay, so I need to hit lands this turn, I think. Perfect. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this and downgrade it. Second Null Hide's probably gonna be too much. I suppose I can hit a... If I would have hit a land this turn, I would have been able to... No, there's only 4 in here, so I'd have been 1 shy. Yeah, big green monsters are tougher blue-red decks to beat. You basically have to race them like we did in the first game. Pretty strong curve on the play there, that the game's 1 and 3. 6/6s. 6/6s are real tough when your removals are shocks and lava coils. Sure. Oh, Benthid. Yeah, let's put Benthid in. I'm writing a note so I remember it for next time. Huh. I think I ditched Drake here. I think the pile of shocks and lava coils are good against the red deck. Although, if they're the green, if they're the Gruul deck, the shocks get a lot worse. Unfortunately, we missed a land drop and a cantrip here. Wonder if I want some Fight with Fires in my sideboard. Feel like that's a card that might be good. Help kill some of these larger creatures. Feels bad that, like, we're playing a bunch of good removal that's like good against like mono red and mono white and mono blue, and like we're hitting a bunch of aggro decks that are just like slightly bigger aggro decks that our removal's not good against. Roast, gosh, Roast is good. I don't know, Lava Coil is probably better than Roast in the context of this format, just because the Exile clause is so valuable. The fact that it hits flying things is also really important too. Would you think about removing the sideboard entirely, having each player remove 15 cards from their deck for games 2 and 3? You mean like start with 75 card decks? Start with 60 and go down to 45 cards? That sounds silly. That sounds great for aggro and bad for interactive decks. I'm gonna keep the extra land here. That make combo decks real good. I think I'm just gonna hang tight for now. I kind of like all the cards in my hand, so I don't really want to discard anything to Chart a Course. I'm gonna shock this even though I could Melody it next turn, because I kind of want to save the Melody for something more impactful than a Pelt Collector. Sure. Alright, so now I think I'm probably going to go land, Lava Coil their 3/3 Radical Idea at end of turn, and then I'll probably kick this up a point or two, and then I can Entrancing Melody it next turn. I mean, Tron's already a 45 card deck, right? With all the cantrips it plays. That's a Murmuring Mystic. Did I discard an island earlier? I did not. I think I just no blocks here. Then I want to get Colossus to lose my Murmuring Mystic. He's gonna like double Colossus and kill me. Yeah, Octo dead would be great. Concur. Yoink. Playing around another Colossus here. I don't really care about this Rekindling Phoenix, just because I'm going to have infinite blockers here in a second. think I want to Quasi-Duplicate just yet. Yeah, all the decks on my site are kept up to date, Balding. Those pages are living pages. They're not like a tournament finish page where just like they get replaced. Yep. I intentionally didn't play my land because I have 3 jumpstart cards down here. In fact, I probably should have bottomed this digging for another spell. Trying to figure out if they want to eat one of my tokens and leave their creature behind. Quasi-Duplicate should take things over here nicely. Oh, I should have only attacked with one of these. I was thinking one was free. I always forget this thing has reach. I know it's got a little bow and arrow, but I always forget this thing has reach. I wanted to attack with at least one because I want to get Chart, of course, and keep both cards, but... Alright, they just assumed I was bluffing instead of I was stupid. God bless. There isn't a strict no-fly list for Modern. You can submit decks using the form on my website here. This plays around Colossus, right? These all have 5 in front of them. So if they Colossus this, I go to 1. This game is all over. I'm gonna Quasi-Duplicate my Murmuring Mystic next turn and then a Trancing Melody their egg. Why would you Lightning? Okay. Opponent is a little bit inexperienced. For those who aren't familiar, when you take their Phoenix, the Phoenix still goes back to your discard pile, so that egg wasn't gonna do anything for me. Oh, yikes. I forgot I didn't have quad blue. I'm also a little inexperienced. That's fine. We'll just bacon bolt this. It's about the same thing, really. Young Pyromancer that makes flying tokens is pretty decent. Turns out. The birds. Have you heard about my birds? I said a bird. My bird's the word. I said a bird. I'm excited to put Bethid in here. Or Bethid, whatever that card is. We're gonna get some Octodads in the deck after this. I'm excited to get some Octodads in here. I might even cut the rails and just go full Octodad at the top end. Sounds great. He's Octo Dad because he's an octopus and he comes with children when he comes into play. Illusionary kids. Illusionary kids, still expensive. Turns out. I'm gonna go up a land, I think. We've lost a lot of games to missing lands. Add 3 Octodads. Sounds great. I'm gonna add a couple of Fight with Fire, at least 1 to the sideboard. Do it. Awesome, Scarf. Yeah, I'm planning the Climb deck this Saturday at the NRG tournament, which I think does mean I'm taking the entire weekend off of streaming. If I'm playing Magic all day on Saturday, probably need to get some other stuff done on Sunday. My plan of drawing spells so far is not coming to fruition. Alright, sweet. Radical Idea will turn one of these lands into a spell, hopefully. Yeah, twitch.tv/NRG series. It's not a Grand Prix, of course there's coverage. What do you think this is, a Grand Prix? NRG takes their paper event seriously. Yeah, Nexus of Fate has more copies printed than any mythic in the set. Octodad, I choose you. Thanks for the host, King. Hope you had a good stream. So I led on the Benthid thinking that I'd rather this get counterspelled, but I guess they can just kill it. Yeah, the fact that this doesn't come in with hexproof is a little loose here, and I probably should have led on Murmuring Mystic. I was hoping if they had a counterspell, they would just counter this, but they can just kill it in response to the trigger, so yeah, maybe leave up this is better. They might also just Kaya's Wrath here. And if their plan is, like, Chemist's Insight, untap Kaya's Wrath, I would rather this get Kaya's Wrath than this get Kaya's Wrath, because this represents more power in the long term. And they know about this one, whereas they don't know about this. So there's a little bit more value in holding on to this, I think. So, like, the way that ended up working out, I think that was fine for us. I don't know about the dive down either. They don't know any of these cards in our hand. I'm gonna see a Kaya's Wrath here. This is probably a matchup where we have to board out at least some of the Quasi-Duplicates, just because they are a bit of a liability against, they're a bit of a liability against, spot removal. Well, I mean, if you'd ban it because you hate it, that's not arbitrary. That's banning it because you hate it. Legacy is much more fair than Modern. If you enjoy playing with Chalice of the Void, Brainstorm, then Legacy is a great format. Nah, Seal Away's not a card that really sees play. Not something worth playing around. Wonder if opponents having connection issues. They burned a timeout last turn. Don't miss points of damage playing around things that are not commonly played. Painter Servant is like pseudo-playable in Legacy, but not really. Having trouble finding the stream. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this. They didn't Kaya's Wrath us last turn, which makes me think that they maybe don't have a second. And they didn't kill this in response to me casting Dive Down. So I think they don't have a spot removal here either, but I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're just timing out. It could just be timing out. Maybe the lights are on, but nobody's home. Oh, they're mousing over stuff. If they don't Kaya's Wrath this year, we're going to be in a great spot. Even if they have, like, Cry, like, that's still pretty reasonable for us. Settle the Wreckage isn't a card that gets played either, Burgle. They usually play Cry and Kaya's Wrath. Yeah, when people play bad decks, Legacy's really diverse. It's like any format of Magic. I think I'm holding on to the Quasi-Duplicate. And the Murmuring Mystic in case they rip a sweeper. Wow, they have a removal spell. They were just... Okay, so they were holding the removal spell to try and play around this. Maybe I'm supposed to... I think I messed up there. I think I was supposed to Radical Idea in response there. And get my extra bird. That was a mistake. I shorted myself a bird. Shorted myself 2 birds. Kind of. I wouldn't have drawn this card there, because that came after the what's it called? But yeah, definitely should have jump-started the one from the bin in response to the Contempt. Yeah, lands in the sideboard are super awkward on Arena. Okay, extra bird didn't matter. You have to...
This isn't a fight you can...
You gonna tuck my thing? Because then I radical idea and kill your Teferi.
Hurry.
I think that's my #1 pet peeve as a streamer. It isn't even having to repeat myself. It's that when I see a question that, like, I took the time to answer, and then, like, someone's like, hey, I'm gonna ask the same question again. It's like, do I just double Benthid here? I think I just double Benthid here. Just, like, hope to fate Kaya's Wrath. Octodad, doing whatever an Octodad can.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
They get a lot of looks at their second Wrath here. They get a draw, they get a Teferi, they get a Chemister's Insight. Okay. So I'm gonna attack these two at Teferi, which does allow them to kill my bird to save their Teferi, but I have Shock to cover them there too, so they need Removal Spell plus Absorb to keep their Teferi alive, which I think is fine for me. So if they have a piece of removal here, they can save their Teferi. Nice, MR. Congrats. Deck needs board Judith.
We will meet again.
That's interesting. Do I do this first to see if I draw a shock so I could just kill them? That's an interesting thought. You might be right. That might be better. They get a lot of looks at Kaya's Wrath next turn. They get to draw 2. They get a look with this. They get a draw step, and they get an activation on this. Yeah, I wonder if they're having connection issues. All right. Alrighty then. Well, if we would have been aggressive, we'd have killed them. I think it's right to kill Teferi there, but is what it is what it is. We mono red now, boys and girls. Show me potato salad. Alright, they didn't instantly windmill the Kaya's Wrath, so maybe they don't have it. Take a chance on me. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. What you got? Did you rip the Wrath on... Maybe they ripped the Wrath while drawing with the Chemist's Insight? Alright, they're dead. Got it? Got a good stealing game 1 here is huge. Stealing game 1 here is huge. I think we definitely get better post-board than they get, just because, like, we get to bring in a bunch of, like, high-impact cards, and we get to cut things like Lava Coil and Beacon Bolt. I think I'm supposed to cut Shock in this matchup. I have Murmuring Mystic. I think I'm supposed to cut a couple of Quasi-duplicates, actually, just because they're kind of a liability. I'm going to leave 2 in. I just don't think I want to draw all of them. Shock is fine because it kills Thief and it finishes off Teferi after they downtick. Yeah. You'd cut an Octodad? You crazy. Need all my threats in this matchup. This is definitely a last threat standing matchup for us. Nah, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true, Giddle. And if, like, we're not bringing in Niv and cutting targets for Quasi-duplicates. Like, my number of targets are still there, too. Keep a Bacon Bolt for Lyra. We can just power through Lyra. We got an Opt. We're on the draw. What could possibly go wrong, chat? We have an Opt and we're on the draw. Duress. Swamp, duress you. Yikes. Opponent mulligan to 5. I'm just gonna do this now in case they smell blood in the water and try and get lucky. Look at that. Skill game. Etc, etc. Magic's easy. Magic's way easier when you're lucky, chat. Much, much easier. This may shock you, opponent. So, if I draw a 5th land next turn, I'm gonna wait to play the Murmuring Mystic. If I don't draw the 5th land, I'm just gonna jam. Because there's no guarantee that I'll have mana to protect it. Alright, yeah. Let's just head to the Space Jam here. Something's gonna stick. Throw enough Murmuring Mystics at the board. Eventually something sticks. Octodad, Octodad, doing whatever an Octodad can. Hopefully this will be the last time I have to wake up this early to register for classes. What's going on, Philosophical Psycho? I appreciate the quarter of a year. Welcome back. They did take Disdainful Stroke. They had our 2nd stroke, sure. That's a yikes. Not only is Thief awkward against Murmuring Mystic, but it can flip Jumpstart cards into our bin too, which we also have. If they hit removal for this Mystic, we're kind of gonna be in a bad spot. Wow, woof. Okay, I think the Thief ran away with the game. We had a shock for the first one. Oh, alright. There's Octodad. why there's a game 3. Opponent got a little fortunate. We got a little unfortunate. That's why you play best of 3. Mitigate that variance. Wonder if I want all 4 shocks in my deck post-board. I don't think so. I have plenty of blockers for this thief.
Keep up the pace.
3's probably fine. So the problem, Burgle, is that I can't just block the thief. I have to also what's the word I'm searching for? In addition to, I can't just be chump blocking the thief. I need to be actually killing the thief, and getting the second Murmuring Mystic into play lets me actually kill the thief. Like, they had none of their, literally the only card in my deck that stopped my second Murmuring Mystic was my second Disdainful Stroke. And, like, I had one of my strokes in my hand. So they literally had one card that punished me for playing the second Mystic there. So, I get that, like, it's easy to look at that and go, oh, we shouldn't have done that because we got unlucky, but, like, I'm gonna put the last shock in. Like, it feels really bad that they had the second stroke, but there was literally only one card in our deck that punished us there. And they only had one card out of our deck. Yeah, definitely, Dongle. Thanks for the 8 months, and I appreciate the tier 2. Welcome back. Not amazing, but fine. Hand is soft to a fast thief, but mulliganing to answers to thief against the Thought Erasure deck just, like, isn't really a good play. I think because I have the 5th land guaranteed in my hand, I'm just going to pass here. So we can play Mystic with Dive Down up the following turn. I guess because I locked in the 6th land, I'm actually going to wait again here. Just because... Oh, my opponent messed up. They didn't do it at my end of turn. I was gonna say, I don't want them to absorb my Mystic and then untap and play Teferi. But this works out pretty well. If we know their Chemister's Inciting, super happy to jam Mystic down their throat. Sure. I'm like, Teferi's less scary on this board just because I can play another Mystic and then pressure it.
Hold that thought.
Yeah, down tick Teferi would have been real good for us there. The problem here is they're gonna have like removal spell into untap Kaya's Wrath, and we're gonna be in a bad spot. Nice, Fulpert. Alright, well if this Mystic doesn't die, that's really good for us. We need to fade land plus Kaya's Wrath Negate next turn.
To move quickly.
If they just pass the turn here, I'm gonna Radical Idea, ditch the island. Get some Murmuring Mystic triggers going on. They just click on my land by mistake. No, I definitely need to play the Radical Idea. Opponents had some UI slops this game.
My worst defeat.
Alright. The fact that we drew the shock meant the Teferi was going to die either way there, even without their UI slop. I think it's important to Radical Idea at the end of turn there, just because even if my opponent hadn't untapped one of my lands, I would still Radical Idea there, just because I need to put enough pressure into play to get this Teferi off the table. Every turn they have Teferi going, I am losing. So we're gonna get absorbed here, but I don't have a way to play through their absorb, so I just need to like get it out of their hand. If I don't play the Disdainful Stroke here to get the absorb, they're gonna absorb Octodad, and I want Octodad to happen next turn. Yeah, even with the mistake, I agree. We're blind. Octodad, doing whatever, and Octodad gone. Do-do-do. Mom's home. Lyra and Octodad split up a while back, but she's here to remind him who she is. We're very dead. Life of a blue-red deck. I don't have Beacon Bolts in my deck. It's post-board against them. Maybe Beacon Bolt's better than Shock. I don't know. It's just, and that's like, that's the gambling thing, right? That's why the creature board plan is so good in this matchup. Like, you have to like guess like what are we supposed to be doing? Like, am I supposed to have these Shocks in my deck or these Beacon Bolts? Like, Shock's better against Teferi, Beacon Bolt's better if they hit Lyra. Yeah, reasons why Esper Control is just like become the default control deck, right? Because it just has such flexible answers. So we sink down into the 80 percentages. We want to land. We want it to be a red source so we can cast this Crackling Drake. Bant, huh? To be fair, I didn't play the mirror gates on the ladder. I knew that one was gonna be a dumpster fire. We knew where that was headed. They untapped the lands because they misclicked. Observant observer. We do not have any counter spells in our main deck, so we are just racing here game one, which probably means we're dead. Teamer Climb is my preferred build, Doctor. Like what I played in the Twitch Rivals event. They don't have haste, so I'm gonna be a turd. So this puts these to 6. This puts them to 7. I could deal 16 this turn. Colossus Wing Temple is real good. You're not wrong. Didn't matter. Things that didn't matter for 100. And now we sit here and spin our tires, wondering, am I dead yet? Am I dead yet? Will I get another turn? The worst part about the Nexus deck on Arena is that you have to sit there and click stupid OK every time they cast Nexus, so I can't just, like, go upstairs and microwave lunch while I wait. Yeah, the auto yield features that Magic Online has would be ideal in this application. That's the worst part. This is why the Nexus deck is miserable, because we don't know if we're in garbage time. Like, we can say we're probabilistically in garbage time, maybe, but like, do they have Root Snare here? If they don't have Root Snare, they're dead. Like, maybe they didn't have a second Root Snare. They don't, and that's why, right? It's just like, it's not a good user. We're like, we won that game, but I still feel bad about it because we only won that game because they bricked off. Apparently they don't have it, so we win, I guess. Cut a bunch of removal, bring in counter spells and Niv-Mizzet. Root Snare's very comment, the 3-mana pause for Reflection is generally not played. Is Benefit fast enough here? It's not particularly fast, but it's better than a random shock. I think it's just every threat on deck in a matchup like this. Hey, Jonesy, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Ah, the audio. Audio bug. Audio bug. Do 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 do. These people are great. Buy their stuff. These people are also great. Buy their stuff. People who are great while waiting for this reload, Lucid Audio is one of our Tempo Storm sponsors, and they've got a discount code for them for 30% off headsets. So if you're looking for headsets, Tempo Storm asked if I plug them a little bit extra. It's a good moment to do that. Zack Attack. Thank you for the 4 months. I appreciate the third of a year. Can you buy Hoaglandia? Of course. Everything. Are you new here? You must be new here if you don't realize that everything is for sale. We play a lot of bit of everything here. You can always find decks that are coming up later on my stream in the deck queue on my website. You can also submit decks to be played of your choosing by following directions on my site. We are a capitalist dictatorship. That is the perfect way to describe what occurs here. I support Tempo Storm by consuming unhealthy amounts of Red Bull. They just sent me blueberry Red Bull. It was very good. Tastes very similar to candy. It was sugary and delicious. What do I like about the headset? So the biggest feature that I like that is different from the last headset that I had is I like inline controls on my headsets. And the Lucid does inline controls a little bit differently. The volume up, volume down is on the left side of my head here. So sometimes you see me touch the side of my headset here. I'm actually adjusting the volume when I do that, which is sweet. Because while I like inline controls, they're kind of clunky and awkward when they're in the actual headset line. So having it on the side of the headset's nice. This is the part where we just start quasi-duplicating. Do I have a command for Lucid? I don't remember if I have a command for Lucid. There we go. Look at that. It's command for everything. Do I know what model mine's just the base model. I believe it's the 25. S25 sounds right. LS25. There we go. Look at that. I was pretty close. I think I just pass here. Nah, let's just make more mistakes. Someone asked about Pteramander versus Benthid. If you're looking to be as competitive as possible, there should probably be 4 Pteramanders in here to be closer to a traditional Drake's deck. We're mostly looking to go full meme with this deck though, so in the spirit of being full meme, this card is better with Quasiduplicate. From a purely competitive standpoint, I think you'd probably cut the 3 Benthids and the 4th Quasiduplicate for 4 Pteramanders. Old man feeding the birds. Lethal baby. Lethal baby. Alright. We're gonna play one more match here without it being full meme. I'm gonna throw the Pteramanders in for the last match just so we can see what an efficient card looks like. Scary Terry, get in here. Can doesn't really do anything. Dang it, Magic. This is why you should always keep 7. Is your 7 close? Keep it. With 5 lands, I've been a land here. Bring back Meme Monday. My wallet doesn't like Meme Monday, sorry. They're playing Phoenix with Pteramander. That's interesting. So we're taking 8 this turn. Probably dead. Fight with Fire sounds good. Niv-Mizzet sounds good. Do I just trim? Is it crazy to cut my Pteramanders and pull up? Just blank their shocks? I feel like getting this to stick's gonna be really difficult to impossible. Let's try this. We did die to the non-meme version. I mean, Pteramander's probably great in the non-shock matchups. Keeping Pteramander in the shock mirror seems loose, though. Especially when I can otherwise be blanking shock. So to answer your question, yes. I did add it and then immediately board it out. Lava Coil, I think, is like the one non-land I would keep there, just because this card's such a premium removal spell in this matchup. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I don't think the version we were playing specifically mattered all that much there. We missed a land drop, but we're happy to have double coil here, like I said. I think it's important that I go ahead and play this coil now while they don't have Spell Piercer Dive Down up. Just get that out of play. They're pretty unlikely to have counter spells that hit my Crackling Drake next turn, so sure. Coil is probably the best removal spell in this format. It's very, very good. Looking to draw lands. It's perfect. Let's just dive down. Stop it. Now they can't attack either, which is great. Ooh. Woo. My flyers are bigger than your flyers. Paint me like one of your French girls. Are we done here? What are we doing with ourselves? Trigger. Hey, Double Hawk, thanks for the biddies. I hope you have a good one. Come on, me. Just killing your stuff. Silly opponent. You play blue-red. You know Niv says untap, win the game. Gotta kill that. Gotta kill that thing. See, it needs to draw some lands, but it's pretty good if it does. What is garbage time? Garbage time refers to the point at which the game is already over, but it's still waiting for the person who's won it to fully win the game. Tracks. Yeah, definitely tracks. I think any erasure thief curve is fine. Any erasure thief deck sounds great. This might be a little shocking, opponent. Okay. What's going on, EVGA? Welcome. They might floop a bird into play here. If they floop a bird into play, we do have the Lava Coil. Also have the Lava Coil for that one. We got coils for days, chat. I did cite this as one of the best cards in the matchup, and I am not a liar. Garbage time is the only sports ball thing I've ever seen Jeff use. I didn't know it had a sports context. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. Wow, they are really unfortunate just not flipping this bird into play. I'm happy they're not flipping me the bird. Yep. I think I'd rather play my own Drake rather than play my Lava Coil into a potential thing. Stop it. Murmuring Mystic not getting Lava Coiled in these matches feels great too. If we get to untap with both these Mystics, we are going to put a lot of burbs into play. Have you heard about my burbs? I said a burb, 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 burb. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little illusion birds, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little illusion birds, 7 little, 8 little, 9 little illusion birds. Charting a course directly to Birdland. Take me to the bird sanctuary. Follow the map. Follow your nose. Wherever it goes. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. You gotta fight for your right to burn the Pteramander. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. This is the bird box we deserved. Netflix, get this. Dunk, 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 dunk. Get that. Clearly blue-red memes are the superior blue-red deck. Blue-red memes, obviously the superior blue-red deck. Look at that. I think we ended up, we were like 2-3 or 3-3 or something like that. I don't know. The deck's probably better with Pteramander as opposed to Mesmerizing. But like, these two cards alone are just like good cards in the format, with Quasi-Duplicate also being a reasonable Magic the Gathering card paired along with them. And when this card isn't good or you don't have threats, we have things like Chart a Course and Radical Idea to like ditch this to find something else to do with it.